my studio, such as it is. It's not very big, but it's my studio. Anyhow, yesterday I made a video about trapping, and my videographer didn't have me framed properly. So I decided, well, maybe I would redo it again today. But my wife saw the video last night, and she said, it's great, don't change anything, it's funny. So I said, well, okay, I'll go ahead and publish it, but I said maybe I'll redo it again another time if I could get my act together enough. But anyhow, it's a beautiful day here in New Mexico, and I hope it is where you are in Ransomville or wherever you're watching this from. And it's a good day. But anyhow, I also I noticed in my being carried away with the video, I forgot to mention on there, please on YouTube, don't forget to click the little like hand on there if you like the video, or the unlike if you don't like it. They say, YouTube says if I get enough of those clicks, they'll pay me for my videos. I doubt that. But anyhow, and I also want to tell you, feel free, please leave me a comment on there if you think there's anything I can improve on or change or back out of or whatever. And don't forget, if you like, subscribe to my channel. You get to watch videos from all over the world. Europe mostly, and here in the States. But anyhow, that, and if you want to hear or see subsequent publications of mine, click the little bell on there, and you will be notified every time I publish a video. So anyhow, here comes the video. Enjoy. I hope you laugh as much as I did. I was crying. But anyhow, it's about life in Ransomville with us kids. I wouldn't have traded it for anything in the whole world. It was, well, I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I thought I was such a hick because my cousin that lived up in the city, I mean, he could walk to a movie theater. I said, I was so jealous. But now, I finally got off the farm, and once I got off the farm, I spent the rest of my life wishing I could go back to it. So anyhow, that's how I feel about Ransomville. Anyhow, here you go. Enjoy the video and get some popcorn. Have a good time. Bye.
Hello. I have a new microphone on today, and we're trying it out. We're going to give it a go here, so I'm going to read another little bit about my life in Ransomville and growing up there. And this story in particular is about one of my dear departed friends, Eddie Miller. He lived right next door to the grade school, and he was a good friend. And he's gone now, but certainly not forgotten by me or any of my friends. That's for sure. Because in the days before the advent of the internet, Xbox, and video in general, we were outdoor kids. Trapping animals was a huge part of our activities. I have to admit that we pretty much sucked at it, but we tried, and it was great fun. And we were always trying to find the elusive muskrat. But the fur of a muskrat is very comparable to that of a mink. It is extremely soft and an awesome insulator. In the era of the 40s and 50s, almost all ladies' coats had muskrat collars or cuffs, and that was all. In fact, when I was in Alaska, muskrat fur is still very popular up there with the Native Americans. They make all kinds of warm clothes for the winter with muskrat fur. But anyhow, it's still popular up there, and it's pretty much frowned upon here in the United States because it's not cool to trap an animal. But it was cool for us. And so anyhow, like I admitted, we pretty much sucked at traffic for a living. A half a dozen furs in the season was a killer season. That was really great. But there was, however, one of the guys that we hung with that was good at it, like a poker player. He was all in. And his name was Eddie. He was number one when it came to hunting and fishing. So with humble respect, I will share a couple funny stories about my now departed friend Eddie, who was so intense about the outdoors, he became known as Field and Stream. How's that for a nickname? But rest in peace, Eddie. The first story was fishing at our favorite fishing hole, the cold storage pond, a pond that had been used in pre-refrigeration days as an ice supply for the cold storage of apples and various fruits. Since that time, I've heard different stories that maybe was not true, but that was the story that I was told by the owner. What was his name? I can't remember his name now. But anyhow, that was before my time, and so the pond became no longer used for commercial use. It became a fishing hole for us boys. It was our internet, our PlayStation. It contained enough bullhead catfish to keep us entertained. Mostly we're only like 6 to 8 inches in length. I don't know if I ever ate any that we caught, but it was fun. It was a fun time. The funny part was watching Eddie, also known as Field and Stream, in action. Our fishing rigs were quite less expensive than today's gear. A simple fishing rod with a reel that had no elaborate drag system or any of the fancy things that fishing reels have now. A hook and a sinker. Add a juicy night crawler that we caught ourselves, and we were set. Incidentally, that was my first commercial enterprise. Caught night crawlers and sold them to other fishermen. Go figure. Often it was a long time between bites, so we cast the bait out, prop the rod up with a stick, and tell stories, etc. While watching the tip, when the rod tip of Field and Stream's rod wiggled, it was time to get out of the way. It was he would rush to it, but not touch it. Never touch it. He would position his feet just so, then place his hands around the fishing rod without touching it. The next twitch of the fishing rod would trigger a violent explosion that few fishermen have ever experienced. A truly violent rip of the rod, and Eddie would be running in high-speed reverse, reeling at a speed never seen before. Not very much playing the fish. It was closer to water skiing the fish across the top of the pond. But anyhow, you had to be there to experience, to understand. It was truly funny. You couldn't help but laugh. But then that was just a short story about his fishing. He went on to be quite a fisherman also. But the next Field and Stream story is trapping. No, not muskrats. Skunks. Skunks! Eddie was good at it, but with trapping a skunk, there is one big problem. They can be very unkind to you if you corner them, and a trapped skunk is most definitely cornered. Eddie lived in a house that was right next to the grade school, as I explained. Grades 1 through 8, no kindergarten in those days. On this particular day, everyone could tell from a great distance that Eddie had indeed cornered a skunk. Our principal promptly sent him home with directions to clean up. When he returned, it was worse. It was a gag meat. I can just still smell it. It was a gag meat concoction of OD polecat and OD cheap aftershave. Sent home with the orders to try again the next day. Even after that, Eddie always had hopes of trapping and taming a wild skunk for his pet. He should have never mentioned that to me. Excuse me. I even dabbled in skunk trapping without success until it was the last day of trapping season, February 28th. On a 28th of February, and it was a Saturday, so I set off to pull up my traps, and near the end, I got to the chicken farm. There was a long building that turkeys were raised in. The ground floor was an open basement of sorts. Doors and windows were missing, pretty much full of junk. If you look in one of the windows, it was an area just wide enough for a skunk to pass through and along one wall. A perfect spot for a trap. I looked through the non-existent window and bingo! I had caught a beauty. Angry but odor-free. Odor-free, yeah, it was. But now what? Well, got Eddie, of course. I shouldn't have done it. That was bad. I had caught a beauty, and so I took off running for town. I ran into town. It was a short run, and found Eddie. And the guy's doing nothing in particular. I told the story, and he wanted to know if you could get to it for a live capture. Obviously, hoping that maybe if I was a true friend, I would let him have the skunk. I said, being a true friend, I said, if you can catch it alive, it's yours. The reason he didn't already have one for a pet was because they were normally caught in a hole and would have been killed and would have to be killed to get them out. So there comes a posse of about 10 boys, hell-bent on a live capture of a skunk. I'm serious, I can't make this up. Yes, we found out what hell was that day. Oh man, I might have to take a break here. Eddie sees it and decides it would be an awesome pet. I said, if you can get it, it's yours. Planning starts, but there's no good plan. About that time, a man that worked at the chicken farm walked up and asked what we were up to. We showed him the skunk, and he agreed that it was a fine-looking animal. He told Eddie that it was not difficult to capture a skunk without the atomizer going off. Woo! Really? He said, sure. If you get close enough and you pick it up by the tail, it can't spray you. It cannot possibly spray you. Oh, seriously? Yep. Some of you kids distract the skunk and one of you sneak up behind it. Okay, let's do it. So we, the distraction team, oh man, I'm crying. I can't see the book here. The capture team, we found a long board and we ran through a window and began bouncing it. No doubt we had the attention of that skunk. Now here comes Eddie behind a big piece of cardboard. It is very obvious that the skunk is fully aware there's something coming closer from the other direction. Closer and closer. Oh boy. Bounce the board more. He's right there. Wow. I can't believe this. Eddie starts peeking over the cardboard, sizing up his opponent. Bounce the board. Skunk checks it. Eddie drops the cardboard and grabs the skunk by the tail. As sure as the best shortstop in all of Major League Baseball. He's got the skunk. Eddie jumps up holding the skunk by the tail and he squeals, I got him! Oh man, I can't help it. Not so fast, Eddie. the skunk has you. I'm serious. Oh man, I'm sorry, but it's a true story. The skunk has you with equally fast action. Eddie chunks a skunk somewhere and comes tearing out of the building, discarding clothing faster than any stripper I've ever seen. Remember, it was the last day of February, and that was before global warming. You know, it was one of those kind of days when it was so cold, the skunk would sneak when you walked on it. You know, when you walk on the snow, it goes squeak, squeak, squeak. Oh man, I'm near the end of this story, so I'll go make my finish of it here. It was a kind of day when it was so cold, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Some of you will understand that. You will just have to trust me. If it's cold enough, the snow will squeak when you walk on it. The last I remember was the worker walking away shaking his head, mumbling something about damn fool kids. Yeah, it's just that funny. I was quite some distance from where the aroma was generated, but when I got home, Mother sent me straight to the basement to get naked. She said, go to the basement and get naked. I said, okay, and I did. Then straight to the bath. I couldn't smell it. I guess I was sweet compared to Eddie. And so ends the story of Eddie catching a skunk for his pet. I don't know where the skunk went, but he's still roaming around free somewhere. So I'm sorry, but no matter where you are, just remember, no matter where you go, there you are. It's true. I can't help it. It's a true story. There's more to the trapping stuff, but it'll have to be another time. I can't see the printing on the book. I got eyes full of tears. But anyhow, that's part of us kids growing up, and it's just too cool. Kids today, they can't understand that. But anyhow, that's the way it is. So long.